What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Golden 83, and I am here to do a general channeled collective message, okay, or messages, okay. Remember, you guys, that these are general messages, again, not personal. So take what resonates and pass the rest to the next, okay. So basically, if you don't know already, and I haven't posted it yet, but I am on kind of like a spiritual vacation from doing the primary readings. You will pretty much see me, a little bit more sporadically up until February, like the maybe like the first or second week of February, when it comes to getting back to preliminary readings, okay, on the channel. But it gives me some time to kind of just decompress, kind of recenter myself to get ready for the new year. I will always be on vacation around those times in the sense of Thanksgiving. I usually take off like mid November and then up till November. Okay. So I really would highly suggest if you're, needing a reading, you can go on my channel, look at the playlist, and catch up on some of your old readings that maybe you haven't seen yet. Okay. Because there's really some untapped energy that needs to be cleansed within the collective, that those readings back then you need to kind of get into. Okay. It kind of gauges how much I can do on the channel as far as spirituality is concerned. Okay, because I do have some additional readings that I want to do for you guys, but only as the collective is moving in a positive mindset. Okay, so no, harm or slight to anyone. It's just that is how the energy works here on the channel. Okay, so with channel readings, they're pretty simple. I take the time to kind of sit in the energy of the collective and to ask divine if there's any specific messages that need to be answered. Okay, I'll start getting a little bit more interactive on the channel as far as the community posts to kind of get you guys feedback as we go through these readings. Okay, I am kind of holding this moss agate just to help as far as keeping me centered and balanced as I'm doing these readings. Okay, because most of the readings that I do are based on real life experiences that are going on with the collective. Okay, and so with me being an empath and an intuitive reader, this moss agate is truly helpful. Okay, I will definitely give a shout out to Miss Blashina. I actually bought this from her probably like, I can't remember, maybe like a year or two ago, somewhere around there, along with one other crystal, and it has been very helpful with my readings. So if you're looking for crystals, sometimes I don't know if she's still doing them, but sometimes I know it was like a live sale that she was doing on some of her crystals, and this has been very helpful. Okay, so this is always with me when I'm doing readings, but this time around with channels, I'll be using this. Okay, so you'll see me rubbing it a little bit back and forth, um, just during the reading, just to kind of help keep the energy centered and tranquil. Okay, so without further ado, let's kind of get into these channeled messages for you guys. I've wrote some messages down. We'll take some time to see if there's anything else before wrapping up the reading. And hopefully you guys will be able to pull some messages from this that are needed. Okay. So to start, there was something with someone is kind of worried about their parenting style. Maybe you're kind of a new parent, kind of giving it a go a little bit, or just in general, with your parenting style on a younger child. Okay, it's not about a teenager, it's not about one that's about to enter adulthood, but you're also, in a sense, kind of wondering what your child will, become. Maybe you've had multiple children who have now careers, and kind of trying to figure out how they ended up in those, particular industries. Okay. So, what I will say as far as worrying about your parenting style, I'm not a parent. Okay. However, if I ever were to be one, um, what I would even do with my first child is more so really taking the good things that I remember from my childhood. Okay, I would suggest that to you in the sense of maybe those family things that you did with your parents. As far as it doesn't have to be as extreme as going on vacations and things like that, which is all fine and good to kind of take from or pull from as far as parenting. But was your parent very attentive? Like if you were going through something and you wanted to talk to them about something that was troubling you, were they always there for you? Make sure you can take that and impart it on your child, okay, in that sense of always being there. That's something that should be standard, I know, but not all parents, do that. They don't really do well with dealing with uh, mental stress or dilemmas or emotional situations. There depends on what era your parents were from, okay, where a lot of them were more closed off than talked, okay. So kind of impart that with your child that you're always open door policy on whatever they want to talk about, okay. Granted, respect is something that should already be enamored in parenting as far as teaching that to your children in a certain way. Um, if you suffered from any, physical abuse, of course, don't utilize or impart that in your child. Okay, so kind of if you're not about uh, putting your hands on your child, then that is your right to do so. Kind of be mindful of other people trying to tell you, and of course, I'm not trying to tell you how to raise your child. That is not what I'm doing. This is about your energy, wondering about your parenting style. Okay, but as far as elders kind of telling you how to raise your child, or what to impart on your child, be kind of mindful of that, okay? Because kids at a very tender age soak up a lot of things. They are a sponge. And so, whatever you think is maybe too much for them as far as their age to be consuming, you should be mindful of that, okay? In the sense of if they're watching something that's a little bit too, as you know, like with toys, they'll say for 3 and up or for 10 and up. Kind of use that as a gauge as far as like what kind of toys they play with or what kind of TV they watch. Okay, if you're not going to watch it with them, kind of have control over them staying in that sense of innocence. You don't want that to be lost. It's already bad enough how this world is now. You don't want to impart anything additional on a child that's under a certain age. Okay. And so what they will become, if you want to gauge that as a parent, and this is something that I would do, is in the sense of really kind of attaching them to some form of a hobby. Okay, kind of pay attention to what their interests are, like if they like puzzles or if they like to draw, things of that nature. Start kind of imparting, learning some kind of hobby or skill set that is something that they like. Okay, you know how sometimes an average child likes Legos, they like to build things. Okay, and so kind of do something constructive with them. Okay, a great way to do that is if you have a children's museum in your neighborhood, maybe take them there because they have a group of activities that children can do, and so maybe that'll start giving you an idea. In some way, it's a kind of win-win situation. It gives you an idea of what kind of child, um, how your child will grow, and then at the same time, it gives them something very constructive to do. Okay, so anything that has workshops or anything like that that you can take your child to, and it's quality time with you and your child, so you can get to know them, and it also builds that trust within you with your child that they can always rely on you. Okay, so that is all the energy that I'm going to tap into with that. Let's step into the next message. Okay, the next message: someone struggling creatively with art. Okay. If you are an artist, it's something about you may be feeling creatively blocked in some kind of way. Maybe you have a commission piece that you're working on, or you just want to create something in general. Okay. Maybe it's been a while for you, possibly. I know for me, I don't claim to be an artist. I like to do that as a side hobby as far as abstract art. So I'm primarily, for me, I do it as I feel energetically guided to. Sometimes you can watch something on TV that will kind of give you some kind of ideas. Okay. For me personally, maybe it's because I'm an earth sign, I'm a Taurus. But sometimes I watch things that have to do with nature. So I'll watch Naked and Afraid sometimes, and it might spark something in relation to possibly my shop, um, as far as like my tea that I have or something else that I have coming up. Okay. Um, just the same as watching some things on YouTube. Like I watch Primitive Building. It kind of helps me in a spiritual way, kind of recenter myself a little bit. And they create some of the most amazing structures from the earth. It's a beautiful thing. If you ever want to center yourself and do that, by all means, I suggest it. Okay. And it kind of reminds me, as far as, it's not complaining about what I don't have, but appreciating what I do. Okay. So really, really nice to get into. Okay, but nonetheless, stop creating from the sense of attracting popularity. Okay, if you are someone who is trying to pretty much people please in the sense of bringing or attracting people to you off of something that you know is just popular, um, to people, then that blocks your creativity, because there's plenty of things out here that you can pull from. But I believe you should create from the heart, be more organic. This is also messages from the divine in the sense of be organic and true to self when you're creating your art. Okay, that will bring the right people towards you. Okay, because I think it's better to bring more like-minded people in the sense of creativity than just people who want to buy from you, unless that's what you're searching for. Okay. Another part that I will say in regards to struggling with creating art, or anything for that matter that's artistic, familiarity is always mass produced, in my opinion. Okay. But originality is cemented in history forever and will be honored in the attempt to recreate but not duplicate. Okay. That is just my personal opinion when it comes to art. Okay. And I speak literally from a creative standpoint myself. For instance, my blankets. I cannot find it in my being to just create something of one solid color. No offense to anyone that knits. That's what you like to do. Me personally, with my meditative blankets, you can find on my Etsy shop, I wanted to create things that can actually invoke some kind of feeling, and I attached a name to each one of them, because of something that I was going through creatively. So, one of my last blankets that I did, I called Lone Desert Sands. It's a neutral color blanket. It has kind of like tans, browns, and black. And Lone Desert Sands, I felt in a very, not, I'm not going to say a dark place, but just felt like or saw myself walking along desert sands. And so that's why I created that blanket. And so I'm not going to knit it again. I'm not knitting those colors again. It's a one and done, because I want it to feel specific to that one person that decides to purchase it. Same thing goes when I do abstract art. I don't create it in the sense of being mass produced. I create it in the sense of being that one original, okay? Because I feel like that holds more weight and value than anything else. And that can be spoken on or referred to forever, but no one will try to recreate it. They may try, but they will never duplicate it. And that is just my standpoint on it. Okay. So hopefully that helps that person who is struggling creatively. By all means, within these messages, if they relate to you, drop a comment that is of positivity and is motivating to the rest of the collective. Um, and tell us your story if you so feel, you know, energetically guided to do so. Okay. So let's move on to the next messages. Someone is dealing with a particular family member with money issues, primarily a brother. Okay. I will say I felt a lot of Midwest energy on this for some reason. So shout out to anybody who is, out in the Midwest. Um, your suspicion is correct. You've been really suspicious, and I think you've been using your third eye or really just being very observant if you're not spiritual. They are borrowing money from other relatives. Okay, that is coming very hard from from divine. That they are constantly not just borrowing from you, but you seem to be finding out from others that, oh, he just borrowed such amount from me the other day, and you just gave him $100, and so he's pocketing it. Okay. It's not drugs. A lot of your family members and yourself, maybe. I think you've been on the fence about it. It's not drugs. It's a side hustle of gambling, and it's off the books. It's not something that he's not going to a casino or anything like that. It's not slots. It's off the books. It's something that can't be tracked. Okay. Um, I got this energy of like a hooch house. Okay. Um, I am familiar with them and like usually like subsidized housing kind of vibe. Usually exists. It's like sometimes a liquor house or you get to do little side gambling. Some cards I think are involved. Maybe some dominoes or something to that effect of like offside gambling. Okay. Occasional games as far as I am not feeling football, maybe basketball, possibly. Um, Things like that. And there's some underlining stuff as far as having some connections in high places that this person has to find out things about particular players, like where they frequent. They don't know the actual player, but they know people associated to this particular player. Okay. I am one that believes in privacy no matter who it is. I don't name drop on my channel. If you hear me ever say high profile, that means celebrity, or someone who's a mid celebrity as far as, maybe in contact with someone like an assistant or an executive producer. I will usually be very, particular about it, but I do like to protect people's energy on this channel. So I won't dive too deep into it, but I feel as though this particular person that's high profile was targeted. Okay. I'm not going to say that the brother was completely connected to it, but knows about it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to end it there. Okay? But it's not drugs. It's not drug related, but it is sports related as far as basketball. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right? So, um, the best thing for your family to do is to stop giving him money, as it's been a lot that has been dished out. Okay. If that particular family member, your brother, is into that, maybe get them on the right track by suggesting that they could probably be in a bar, they could work at a bar, be a bartender, or actually, get a better paying job, maybe behind the scenes at a casino or something like that, if they truly are enamored with gambling, and go legit, and possibly get them out of there. You once were there yourself, so you know exactly where he's probably going to. And so you know it can get dangerous. So it's time to have a really good sit down talk with him about getting out of it. Okay. And that, I think that is all that I have with that particular situation. Um, as far as any other messages, because that those were all the messages that I wrote down, for these channeled readings today. And this is the only one that I'm doing today because this does take a lot of energy to do. Um, but the collective, you guys, like I said, are going through a lot of things. I hopefully tap into them, um, as much as I possibly can. Um, I will say with the situation, with the parenting situation, I can't remember if I actually said it, because once I'm on a roll, I'm on a roll. And I try to get out as much as I can in the moment. But Capricorn, check into the playlist again, like I said, for Tap Into Your Souls, because that will kind of give you some narrative to go by as far as your parenting style goes, okay, where certain things stem from. um, I'm gonna ask Divine if there's any other messages, and I don't think it is. I think we're gonna, stop there, um, because this was some pretty heavy energy, especially towards the end. So, and that particular situation was not even, I didn't write it down, it came through. Okay. So, right now, I'm just going to give an honorable mention to a couple of signs that this could be related to. Okay. You are either a sun sign in the ones that I'm about to mention, or you have it in your chart. Okay. And specifically, what I feel is all sun sign energy, is Capricorn, Scorpio, Virgo, Cancer, and Sagittarius. Now, with Sagittarius in particular, there may not be a sun sign in Sagittarius that needed any of these messages. It is someone with Sagittarius in their birth chart placement. Okay. If you are a spiritualist, you can go and check out your birth chart and see where you have Sagittarius. But I feel like if it's somewhere in your third or seventh house, dealing with family or business issues. Okay. Or you can combine those two together and we can just say family business issues. Okay. And so I don't know if this, I'll go back to this possible Midwest energy, in the sense of there's another family member connected to it. Maybe they run it, and they need to stop it. Okay. Um, Again, it's a dangerous business depending on what energy you have coming in there. Okay. I'm not saying you in particular, the person that it, may be affecting as far as your family, but whoever the outside relative is, um, it's very far extended family is the feeling that I'm getting. um, Possibly like third generation type vibe. Okay. And so we have them here on the east. We had them here on the East Coast that I'm familiar with from back when I was like in my early 20s. And I'm 40 now. So I know it still goes heavy, or feels like it still is heavy in the Midwest now. So um, nonetheless, like I said, those are the signs. Again, Capricorn, Scorpio, Virgo, Cancer, all sun sign energy. So if your main sign based on your date of birth is one of those, then that is where these messages, or who these messages were for. Out of those signs, you could have Sagittarius in your birth chart. Okay. And it could be looming around family. Okay. So, with that being said, you guys, that is all that I have, today when it comes to channel messages. Hopefully, you guys take care of yourselves. We're looming towards the end of 2023. And I hope you guys will do the same as me and start cleansing your energy and preparing for more positive moving forward in 2024. So until next time, peace.